In previous versions, you could apply different formatting to specific rows, even based on conditional criteria, but it was much more difficult to apply formatting only to a specific column. A new formatting feature makes this easier to do. To set this up, click on any cell in the desired column. Then from the Format menu, choose Conditional Styles. This opens a screen where you can enable conditional style based upon a formula entered in the box below. Conditional formulas use the if function without an equal sign. For simpler situations, to apply a format based on the selected cell contents, use the hash symbol in the comparison. The true and false conditions are style names, which can be typed in or pasted in or inserted from the list of styles at the left. If the formula syntax is valid, an area will display below with the cell value, and formatting applied if it meets the criteria. Click OK to save the formatting. After saving, note that when you hover the mouse over the column title, the pop-up hint has the formatting syntax displayed. Conditional formatting supports using formulas as part of the syntax, such as comparing a date to today. And you may nest multiple if comparisons together should you want differing formats based on differing results. And if you summarize a view and the summary value meets the conditional criteria, it will be formatted as defined. It is possible to disable or enable all of the conditional formatting from the View menu and Conditional Styles. A checkmark indicates that the formatting is enabled, and selecting this will toggle the formatting off. And you can go back to the View menu and toggle the setting on again. For rows where the row format is also active, this new conditional cell formatting takes precedence, in the case where a cell could have different formatting applied from both criteria. Conditional formatting formulas can also refer to other cells in the same row for the criteria, using the cell ref formula to refer to the position of the cell that contains the comparative data. The column position of this cell is indicated with an integer, and usually will be in the same row as the one being formatted. To remove a conditional formatting formula from a column, right-click on the column title, and from the pop-up menu, choose Clear Conditional Styles, and press F5 to refresh. In previous versions, it was possible to create a calculated column that allowed hyperlinking to view Adagio PDF documents, but the formula was quite complicated. Now, a new formula makes this easier. In a calculated column, the formula getPDFitem will return the path and name of a PDF file. 4 pieces of information is required: the customer or vendor code with extra spaces trimmed, the 2-character code for the program where the document was generated, the document type character, and the document number with extra spaces trimmed. Notice that when the customer number and document number fields were inserted into the formula, the field was automatically wrapped in a trim formula. Now in GridView, any right justified text field inserted like this will include the trim formula, removing any leading spaces from the result and making record selection or formula evaluation more efficient. When this formula is saved, the entire path and file appears only for those files that actually exist. If you right-click on the column title and make this column have a hyperlink, You can now click on the value and load the PDF file for display. If you hover your mouse over the top left corner of the grid, new information is displayed for the record count of the data file and the number of records selected by a chosen filter, and the size of the grid in rows and columns. And when you export a view to Excel using the Excel Direct process and allow tables on the view definition, there is a new program default to assign the table formatting scheme based on the labels found in Excel. If you regularly change the color or layout for the table in Excel, setting this default will save you time. For sites that use the Adagio GridView read-write add-on, there is a new way to make large-scale changes to your data using Adagio Direct to update existing records or add new records. First, the shortcut you use to start GridView should have an ADM parameter instead of the usual RW to trigger Adagio Direct instead. Next, you create a view based on a file that contains the changes you want to make, rather than the live data file in Adagio. This could be an Adagio file from a different program or company, or it could be an Excel spreadsheet or ODBC database. This view should be as complete as possible, especially if you are adding new records. To configure this view, from the File menu and the Export Flyout menu, locate Adagio Direct, either for a single view or an entire workspace. The first time you do this, the only available choice is to define the setup. Defining Adagio Direct requires selecting the dictionary for the program you want to update, and the table related to the data you want to update. After selection, a mapping screen appears. The column on the left has the fields from the view, and the column on the right has the contents of the dictionary table. The column in the middle describes how the fields are mapped. The right column displays the mapping status of each field. When field titles match exactly, they are immediately mapped together, and the dictionary field is displayed in green font. Fields highlighted in red are required fields that have yet to be mapped, and those with no formatting are simply unmapped. To make a field connection, simply click on an unmapped dictionary field, let go of the mouse, then click again and drag that field to the desired location of an unmapped view column, identified with yellow highlight. That title will now appear, and the field map status will turn to green. If the data types differ, you will get an error message. All required red fields must be mapped, as until then, the OK button is disabled. When all required and other desired fields are mapped, you can click OK to save the definition. When you are ready to perform the update, from the File menu and the Export Flyout, choose Append to add new records, Modify to change certain fields for records found in the data for indexed files, and Replace to reset the entire file with the contents from your view. You can also re-edit the mapping if desired. It is extremely easy to corrupt your data with this process if you have not set up the mapping correctly or if you have invalid information in your source view. Never do this on your live data, but rather do it on a backup to ensure the results are correct.